Here's a response to a comment that was left in one of the comment areas on one of my floor joist repair videos. And the individual was suggesting that if you have a bowed floor joist, we have a bowed floor joist on this side and a straight joist on this side. Remember, some joist, conventional lumber, will actually bow if it's undersized or if there's a lot of weight on it. So you could end up with this is a pretty common repair to actually fix something like this. And I can't tell you how many times I come to an older house, you can actually walk in the house and feel that the joists have actually bowed, and in some cases the floor is actually springy because the lumber wasn't the correct size. But anyway, the individual suggested that you could cut the center of the joist and simply raise it. And yeah, you can, but it's not going to solve the problem completely. So if we take a look here, we actually have we've notched the joist and then raised it up to the top. And you can see that there is still an area on each side that is not providing us with a nice straight floor joist. And the ends of the joists also, when you raise them, they might move a little bit. So here we can see a straight floor joist. This is the one that was actually cut and moved. And if you have a joist hanger, this could actually create a problem for you. So here we can see we got it tight at the top, both ends. But in the center, we still have a sagging or a bowed joist. So we haven't solved our problem completely. Now, if we simply cut the joist and nail another joist next to it, we could end up with some nails. You can see the difference right here in the height. This would actually push the floor sheathing up. And if you have nails in the existing joist from the existing sheathing, you could end up with some with some squeaks in the floor if there is any movement in it. So I'm saying that there might not be any because this is going to be nice and tight, but I'm just kind of throwing that out there. Possibility. Another problem you're going to have is that here we have the joist. I simply, to make my drawing a little easier, took one board on one side and simply flipped it over to the other side. And you can see here that the cut in the top is fine. But as we go down, this board right here is actually this line here. And this board over here is this line here. And if you do something like this, you might actually need to cut a 1/4 of an inch gap or a 1/2 inch gap out of this. You might not be able to get away with simply just cutting the board right up the middle. Hope that makes sense. So both ends, let's go back to the one end. It's going to look the same as we can see here. And then of course the sag in the existing joist isn't going to be taken out completely. If you do end up cutting the joist down the center, here are a few methods that might work to put everything back together, make the joist a little stronger. First up on the list would be to sandwich the joist in between two boards and bolt it together. This could be if you have a 2x6 joist, this could be a 1x6. It could be a 2x6. It could be a piece of plywood. 3/4 inches thick or 1 1/8 thick of plywood. And different size bolts, I will leave that up to you. Remember, these are just ideas. I'm throwing them out there. The bolt sizes, the boards that you would need to sandwich in between or use on the outside would vary on the project, depending upon what the joist would be holding up. Now, if you do a repair like this, and you're going to be supporting a load-bearing wall, this is probably going to be a no-no. I could tell you that right now. Something like this might work a little better, and that would be to install the joist next to the other joist. And again, the only problem I could see here would be if you have any nails that would be in the existing floor sheathing, and then we would have a gap here. Could that squeak? I don't know. The last repair on the list, my suggestion would be to install a beam, post and beam setup, pour some footings, use some piers, and install a post underneath the center, and that would probably be a nice fix. So if I just sit back and look at this, this would be my least favorite, but seems to be common amongst a lot of do-it-yourselfers. And then this would probably, these two right here would probably be about the same. And they would probably, these would be methods that would be more accepted by an engineer than this. But I say that, and I say that with, you know, I have seen this too many times. So I don't know if this is a quick and easy fix. It's cheap. But for you as a do-it-yourselfer, if you cut the center of the joist, I would say stick to one of these two and leave this one here alone.